What's up, everyone? What's going on? I'm Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show. Yes, I am again out and about talking fantasy football with you. Don't worry, I'm not near people. Otherwise, I'd have a mask on. But I enjoy fresh air. I'm always cooped up in my studio, and yeah, sometimes Smitty needs to get out. Sometimes Smitty needs to be out and about. So that's why I am out right now on the streets of Phoenix doing a live Q&A with you talking 2020 fantasy football running backs. That will be the topic of tonight's show. No, I will not be talking about wide receivers unless your trade involves a running back. No, I will not be talking about quarterbacks. No, I will not be talking about tight ends. I will not be talking about anything but running backs. We'll be talking redraft. We'll be talking dynasty. Hit me with your questions and let's get to it. I appreciate all of you that were over on IG, on Instagram. I was doing a live for about an hour over on Instagram. Now I'm here on my YouTube show, ready to talk 2020 fantasy football running backs. Where's everybody from the IG show? I told you all to get over here. Dill, what's going on? Earliest you take Clyde. Let's get to that topic. What's going on, Dill? What's going on, Joshua? What's going on, Watkins? What's going on, Royal? Royal's first. Nice to have you. JP's in the house. Glad to have you, JP. Huff, where's Huff? Esteban's in. Esteban's new. Esteban found me on IG. Esteban's followed us over here. Dill in the house. Okay, how high? We're talking running backs only, Esteban. Guys, we're talking running backs only. How high do I take Clyde Edwards Helaire? I take him higher than the average bear because I love little Clyde Edwards Helaire. This guy is called by Joe Burrow the best running back, the best college football player he's ever played with. The best player he's ever played with. Burrow's played with both Bosa brothers, Michael Thomas, Zeke Elliott. He's played with a lot of great players. To say that Clyde Edwards Helaire is the best player he's ever been on a team with is saying something. And both the Chiefs GM and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, the trio, the triple, all three of them thought Clyde Edwards Helaire was the best player in the 2020 NFL draft. There's a lot of great minds pointing toward this guy being the next Maurice Jones-Drew. Now, the question is, where do you take him? Do you take him in the redraft at 2.12? Yes, I would. Do I take him higher? Not right now, because you don't have to 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10. Is there some Homer, KC Homer in your league that takes him at freaking 2.01? Maybe. And you kind of got to play the odds on that, because guess what? There are still other good players like Eckler and Drake that would get pushed down if a guy like Clyde Edwards Helaire went too early. So draw your line, stick to the ADP data, make smart GM decisions. Don't reach for players because you're overly excited about them. No offense to JP in here. JP, I'm working on that with JP, because JP, I have to say, I'm hitting you with like a negative and a positive at the same time. JP, I feel JP is becoming one of the best mock drafters I've seen in my community. So take that, JP. That's an amazing compliment. I also know that, JP, though, watching you mock draft, you can tend to hang on to, some kind of prediction and maybe take a guy way too early. And I see that you're working on that because I've seen it through your mock drafting. Mock drafting is a very important aspect of becoming a better fantasy football owner. If JP masters that, if JP knows where to draw his lines and JP takes guys no earlier than he has to, he knows, okay, this is where I take him. 8 times out of 10, you're going to land the guys where you need to. And anytime that player that you want to target so bad goes so high above where you've drawn your line in the sand for where to take them and where to let him go, other guys will be pushed down and you're going to make smart fantasy football decisions. Do I think Clyde Edwards Helaire is going to be a top 5 running back? I do. Will he be that good as a rookie? Maybe, maybe not. He could have a slow start. Coronavirus is going to change the landscape of every player in fantasy football, every team, every organization, every fan, obviously. It's going to change everything. We don't know what's in store injury-wise. Maybe Clyde Edwards Helaire, CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, these guys start off way slower than we want. Way slower. because they can't absorb offenses. They can't pick up pass protection in their specific offense. You need to know how to pass protect for your quarterback, not just in general. There's so much you have to absorb. Playbooks like Kansas City's playbook is so complicated. So complicated. And so, could Clyde Edwards Helaire start out slow? Sure. But are we looking at a 2020 season where more players are going to get hurt, more veterans than ever before, and rookies will be leaned on more than ever down the stretch? We could. We don't know what we're dealing with, but maybe Clyde Edwards Helaire is a top 5 running back based on merely the fact that he will be the only guy. Let's say Dame Williams gets hurt, these veterans get hurt. I'm not saying everyone's going to get hurt. Like, I'm not expecting that, but I think we're potentially looking at one of those seasons where more players get soft tissue injuries and pulled hammies and groin muscle pulls and tears than ever before. So could Clyde Edwards Helaire be a top 5 running back in 2020? He could be. Don't be too shocked if he is, but also package in a little buffer in that expectation that he may not end up in the top 5 because he didn't start off with that kind of volume. He may be a top 12 to 15 running back for the first 7 weeks. You have to protect yourself and know that. So don't draft him to be a top 5 running back in redraft. That would be reckless. It'd be completely reckless on your part. But know that the talent is there. The situation is there. He's a top 5 to 10 running back in Dynasty, and I draft him as high as 2.01 because you kind of have to now. Do I take him at 1.05 in Dynasty? No, because you don't have to take Clyde Edwards Helaire that high. Why would you take him there when he can fall 8 times out of 10 to 2.01? And in redraft, again, if he falls 8 out of 10 times to the 2.12 or 3.01 pick, why on earth are you taking him so high when on average he will fall later? I mainly play Dynasty, so that's why I'm taking him 2.01. I don't blame you for taking him at 2.01. What are you talking about, Noah? Noah's saying, what is all this 2.01 and 1.05? What are you talking about? What do you mean, Noah? Noah, don't make you take a lap. So anyway, use ADP to your advantage. Do not draft Clyde Edwards Helaire in your top 5. Not even in Dynasty. You don't have to. What's up, Double A? But if you think for a second that Clyde Edwards Helaire can't be a top 10 running back in redraft based off of week 6 on, you got another thing coming because he potentially has that kind of volume coming his way. Take a lap, says Kyle. Clyde is great in Dynasty, but is overrated in redraft. Royal, you might be right, but that doesn't mean he won't turn into that player eventually. So I have to say, if you can draft, let me tell you an example. Make a dumb comment, take a lap. That's right, JP. Let me give you an example. Okay, I just never talked decimal. Okay, you talking about the first pick? Yeah. Noah's saying he didn't understand the 1.01. 1.01 is the first pick in fantasy football. 1.12 is the 12th pick in the first round. First round, 0.12, 12th pick. That's what it is. Why can't it be the 2.1 instead of the 2.01? I don't know. Take a lap, Noah, for disrupting class. Just take a lap for disrupting class. I don't allow, you have to raise your hand in my class. Now, right now, you're not raising your hand. You want a bathroom pass? Go take a leak for a while and come back when you're ready to compose yourself. I'm just kidding, Noah. What were we talking about? Noah, this is why it distracts me. It distracts me. What are we talking about here? Clyde Edwards Helaire. But what was I talking about? When Noah had to interrupt class because he can't hold his urine in. I don't understand. Anyway, I think yeah, I know what I was going to say. Damn Noah. Clyde Edwards Helaire. Here is the solution. for Clyde Edwards Helaire. Okay. So let's say for a second you tell me, oh, Smitty, this is my voice for other people. Oh, Smitty, I don't think Clyde Edwards Helaire is going to be good until week 7. So how is he going to be a top 5 running back? If he's not getting the work, are you going to play him? No. So what running back in fantasy football is falling to like the 6th round that could have low-end running back 1 appeal? I'll tell you what, there's a couple of them, but one in particular. JP knows, he's going to spit it out. JP knows what running back falls into the 6th round that has Lev Bell's one of them, actually. So there's 2 of them. Lev Bell, Mark Ingram. If you had Lev Bell and Mark Ingram or one of the 2 on your roster with Clyde Edwards Helaire, they could serve a purpose for 4 or 5 weeks until Clyde Edwards Helaire replaces them in your lineup. Just because you have Clyde Edwards Helaire bought a little bit higher than you like, you have to have a backup plan in place. If let's say you do your draft and they're like, Clyde Edwards Helaire is going to get 4 carries in week 1. First of all, he could pop off one carry for 70 yards and take it house. Get that house call. Clyde Edwards Helaire coming right up. Get on your horse, young man. Take it to the house. That's Clyde Edwards Helaire. But if you draft Clyde Edwards Helaire, you take a Mark Ingram or a Lev Bell, you have yourself protections in place. I think the security guard's going to come kick me out because I'm screaming and yelling by all these restaurants. This is going to be funny, Smitty getting kicked out on a live from his show. Oh, man. You just took Clyde Edwards Helaire 9th overall in a mock. Pretty good stake. That's a tough one because I think, again, 9 times out of 10 he's going to fall at 2.01. But I think 9th is still okay. 9th isn't that far away from 2.01. And God's honest truth, you might actually still end up with the same players. Like, let's say you take Clyde Edwards Helaire at 9 overall in a dynasty startup, and then you take Drake or Eckler with the other pick. You could flip-flop that and come to me and say, hey, Smitty, I took Drake or Eckler with the 1.09 and I got Clyde Edwards Helaire in the 2nd round. I'd be like, it's the same thing, same outcome. And I'd be like, dude, you killed it. You killed it. So the truth is 1.09 is not that far. I'd be okay with that. Aaron Jones and Godwin be a fair trade for Barkley and Dynasty. Yes, but I don't believe Aaron Jones is going to be worth it. So in theory, like in terms of value, like if you break this down like my trade calculator does, Aaron Jones probably going to cost you out of $200 around like 35, and Godwin's going to cost about 40. You're talking about similar value to what you pay for a Barkley. So you could say that Barkley and that are even value-wise. But I don't trade Barkley for that because I feel like I can fill those other positions better through, late draft picks and stuff. And so ultimately, when you trade Barkley for Godwin and Aaron Jones, you're going to have players to fill that hole, and you're not really going to have just one player versus those 2. You are going to have 2 players. Aaron Jones is a very, very red flag type player for me in 2020 and beyond. He barely got 1,000 yards on his biggest workhorse season he's really had, and he stayed healthy for the first time. They used him a ton, and Aaron Jones only had like 1084. I don't know the exact number. I think it's 1084. Someone tell me. 1080. Someone tell me if it's 1084. If it's not 1084, I'm taking a lap. I think it's 1084. 1084 is not a ton for a guy that literally was fed 19 touchdowns. He's not going to get 19 touchdowns again. He's also looking at a vulture type running back landing on the roster that's probably going to take about 30 or 40% of the TDs he will have in 2020. And so those 2 things alone, the fact that, 3, injury prone, 4, Injury prone, Aaron Jones. Everyone say it with me. Yahoo. Why? 1084. Look at that. I'm not taking no laps on that one. Injury prone. He solved that last year. And guess what? Noah and Esteban, if you're thinking that I don't like Aaron Jones because you're new, I don't think Noah's new, actually. He was on my top 7 bold predictions in 2019. Aaron Jones. Find me one analyst out there that had Aaron Jones ranked higher than I did, that was on my top 12 bold predictions, and that had Dalvin Cook ranked higher than I did in my top 5 bold predictions. Dalvin Cook, I said, would be a top 5 running back in 2020. And if you don't believe me, go to my YouTube videos, every single one of them of 2019 and 2020, where I say top 5 running back for Dalvin Cook. I put it in my intro video and I think cranked out, 1,000 videos with that built into my intro so that I would look like a fool if Dalvin Cook didn't drop top 5 running back numbers. Esteban, damn, you really are better than some fantasy shows that have 10 million followers. Thank you. You go into detail in the description. Thank you, Esteban. Esteban's new. We're not sure if Esteban's gonna be one of those guys that flips out on me later, or becomes one of the most loyal followers I've ever had. We're on the fence with Esteban. Don't tell him. BDGE was with you on Aaron Jones. Yeah, well, I'd like to see the ranking, but in my top 5 to 7 bold predictions, Aaron Jones. I only picked 12 of them. 12 of them. And he was in my top 7. And Dalvin Cook also. So, where was I talking? Oh, so the red flag. So no one likes Aaron Jones, or liked Aaron Jones more than I did in 2019. I saw it coming. Why? Because he worked out. He was ripped. He had that offseason he's never had before. Aaron Jones has never been healthy like he was walking into 2019. He was shredded. He was ripped. He was ready to go. He was ready to rumble. He's bleeding with talent. I love Aaron Jones talent-wise, but he's a lazy guy. He's at a lazy offseason regime, or work, like work ethic is what I'm looking for. A lazy work ethic for so long, and it's caused him to get hurt. It's led to injury. He walked into 2019. Take a lap, Noah, says Royal. I don't know what for, but I trust Royal. He was here first. And the team doesn't believe in him. Why don't they believe in him? He just got 19 freaking touchdowns. 19 touchdowns. 19. But the team, for whatever reason, when you ask them, any coaching staff member, hey, what do you think, Aaron Jones? You think after 19 TDs, he's earned the starting job? And what do they say? Nah, we'll get another running back in the draft. We're gonna share carries here moving forward. They can't commit to Aaron Jones. That's red flag number 2. Injury, coaching support, and then A.J. Dillon and lazy offseason. Those are a lot of red flags, guys. In that, I do say that Aaron Jones has a line in the sand where I draw it and I say, I'm taking Aaron Jones. There's that line for every player. I'm a big avoid Gurley drafter and analyst. I'm a big David Johnson avoid analyst. But I draw a line, and I definitely feel like there's a place where every player has that line in the sand where I would take him. And guess where Aaron Jones's value is? Like my frog in boiling water example. You take a frog, and I don't know if this is true, but it's a great analogy, so let's pretend it is true. You take a frog, you put him in boiling water, he jumps out, right? Who wants to be boiled? An a-hole might want to be boiled, but past that, who wants to be boiled in hot water? No one. Okay? But you take a frog, you put him in lukewarm water, you turn it on high, that frog won't jump out. He'll boil to death slowly, and that's what fantasy owners do when they don't recalibrate and reevaluate their opinions on players as the ADPs move. I can't emphasize how important this is, because if you don't like Lev Bell, because there are a lot of reasons to not like Lev Bell. Gase, the fact they don't want him there, the fact that he had a really bad season in many ways. But what's hidden in there is some PPR goodness that Lev Bell kind of has protected in to his value. I'll answer the DK in a second. So Lev Bell has some very good PPR protection built in, like a high floor. And he was a red flag walking into the early off season. He's going kind of, we did some mock drafts in January and February, and he went like in the third round. Started to fall in the fourth round, like the frog in boiling water. What do? We don't react. And even Smitty, your fearless leader, for months hasn't been noticing that Lev Bell has fallen too far. And I need to recalibrate my thinking. I need to look at Lev Bell and say to myself, Smitty, did you not notice Lev Bell fell another round last week? Did you not know Lev Bell's now at 6.01 in a lot of your drafts? Hey, Smitty, take a lap. Lev Bell is pretty safe at 6.02 because he has a high floor in terms of that PPR production. I don't even know. I'm ranting again, and I forget where I was even going with this. Hit the thumbs up on your way. Yeah, we have 11 thumbs up. Really? Please hit the thumbs up on your way in. Who's a better skill player, Elliott or Barkley? Somebody keeps saying Barkley is better. Esteban, that's a tough question to answer, because I think the problem people have with this debate is it's like debating Emmitt Smith and Barry, Jordan and LeBron. Like, we're talking about some different things here. Fantasy football in general is very different than football. Barkley's the most gifted, like physically gifted player in the NFL, or the running back position at least. But Christian McCaffrey is a more dangerous weapon. And they're two very different things that in the end can produce the same kind of result in fantasy, is the scoring production. So if you're asking me physically, who's the better player, who's the more talented physical specimen, it's Barkley, who can like squat a truck. I mean, that part isn't real shocking, I think, if you answer it from a physical standpoint. But who's the better fantasy player? They both do it a different way, so it's hard to compare them. McCaffrey's overworked, but he's proven he can hold up, and he still might have 2 or 3 elite years left at high volume. He might have 1 or 2. Running backs fall off like that sometimes out of nowhere, and he's been used a ton. But he's been used a ton in the receiving game and rushing game, not just the rushing game. So he could escape that early downfall in a lot of players' running back careers where they get overfed early, and he's been overfed, but it's been a lot of receptions, and you get hit less. You can run out of bounds. You can get hit by a smaller D-back. You can get hit and fall down, versus like a Derrick Henry grinding it out between the tackles with people jumping on his back and just, grinding him into the ground and just destroying his knees, hit by hit, carry by carry. It's different. So McCaffrey might hold up longer than we all even think. But Barkley, I feel, is the more talented player. And I think Barkley's offense will catch up, and McCaffrey's could take a little bit of a step back. But Barkley's offense is going to pick it up and be a pretty lethal offense. And a lot of it's going to be because of Barkley. But Danny Dimes is going to get in rhythm with Barkley, with Slayton. If Ingram stays healthy, that will be a big help to this offense maturing and taking that next step. Do not be shocked if the Giants are better than the Panthers in 2020. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying it's for sure. It's kind of a hot take, I guess you could say. So not everything I say is going to be correct, Esteban, and all of you new people. I'm a human being. I might make mistakes. I'm kind of down on DJ Moore, and that might make some of you mad. But hang with me, because that's one take. We're not all going to have the same damn rankings over and over, right? Let's see. I'd take Metcalf over Cooper, honestly, says Royal. I don't know what the question was, but Metcalf for me. Metcalf, you want a good wide receiver that could play like he could be your wide receiver one if you build cheaply at wide receiver. Let's say you go running back, you go running back Mahomes, and maybe DK even falls to your 4th round pick, like 4.01. I've seen it fall. If you've seen him fall, he goes in the 3rd round a lot too. But if you can make DK Metcalf your 4th drafted player, you should be pretty excited about that. I think he's pretty protected into 4th round value. I think DK Metcalf has a very, very high floor and still a very high ceiling. And I think DK Metcalf could very well get you 10 TDs. And even if his yardage isn't like 1,400, he's going to get a lot of receptions. He's going to get like 1,100, 1,200 yards, I think, as a floor. And he has the potential for double-digit touchdowns. And he has a great offense and a great quarterback throwing him the football. He's got all those things covered, all those boxes checked for a guy that feels pretty safe. Safe players have good quarterbacks. Safe players have offenses that feed the football to the wide receiver consistently. Safe offenses have all those components. Safe players, safe fantasy players have all those boxes checked. DK, it's freaking phenomenal. And it took me a little while to come around on DK last year because I did worry. I doubted him a little bit. And then after the combine, I let it get me excited, just like everybody got excited. Then I started to say, okay, let's wait a little bit. That guy that size, can he hold up? He proved he can. And I'm very, very quick to recalibrate my thinking. And I don't hold on to takes that I have and stick to my guns and just see it out no matter what, and go down with the ship of my predictions. I will be honest with you and tell you when I missed the boat, when I didn't see a player coming fast enough. I feel like I'm Pat Mahomes' father. I don't know anybody that called him a top 5 quarterback before he was even the starter for his team. Biggest prediction I've ever landed in fantasy football has probably been my Pat Mahomes content. But you know who I missed? Lamar Jackson. I didn't think Lamar Jackson was going to become what he became heading into 2019. I didn't see it. We don't see everything. We are human beings, but I do pride myself on most times recognizing a rising star quarterback because that is one position I've landed over the years, over and over and over. And Lamar definitely surprised a lot of people, and even people that believed in him. They did what I did with Mahomes the year prior. Talked him up, told everybody, watch out, top 5 numbers are coming, and they still drafted him in late round ranges, and then we're afforded the opportunities to trade away their other quarterback who they probably took higher because they now had a top stud that they drafted later. I see a QB sleeper that you don't see coming. Who, JP? It's not Danny Dimes. It can't be Danny Dimes because I see him coming. You know my content pretty well, so maybe there is a quarterback. But go ahead and spit it out. I'm not a fan of Carr. I'm not a fan of Locke. I like Burrow a lot, but not right away. I mean, Burrow's going to take a little time. Quarterbacks take a time. Peyton Manning took time. Like quarterbacks need a little time. That's why I'm not high on Mixon like everybody else, because Mixon busted last year facing 8-man front after 8-man front. And everyone thinks that everything's going to be, completely amazing right out of the gate for Burrow. And I just don't. I mean, I love Burrow for the long term. I think Higgins is a good pairing, and they can mature together. No Darnold. Anything can happen, Neo, so trust your gut. But, I mean, there's so many other options. Like, why screw around with the Darnold? I was watching a podcast yesterday. Once in a while, check out some competition, some buddies, network, collaborate, all that. And there was one podcast that was, no offense to these guys. They're still good guys, but they're like, the guy I like in 2020 is Darnold. Like, you don't need to go there. Like, you don't need to get Darnold. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, these guys are falling to like 7 to 9 overall. Like, we don't need to mess around with a Darnold or a Carr in 2020. The QB player pool is deep enough. We don't need to go there, guys. What's going to happen with Fitzmagic? I think he gets hurt. I mean, him getting hurt is like the odds of Delaney Walker getting hurt. Like at what point does Fitzpatrick get hurt? Car MVP says Junkie. I don't know about that, Junkie. But I appreciate you being here, man. I stay away from Carr. I stay away from Darnold. JP, what was your breakout? Tua. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say I don't see him coming, but I'm just like gonna wait and see with Tua. I'm not calling him a bust. That hip injury was brutal. He looks pretty healthy, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I think Tua could be okay. He could be good, but I'm kind of stepping back and taking a wait and see approach. Back on topic, running backs. We need to stop talking. You guys tricked me. You tricked me into answering and talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about running backs. Running backs only. Clyde Edwards Helaire, I've gone on a rampage about that. But that guy's micro movement ability is just unmatched. And you mix the micro movement ability. Let me show you some micro movement. That's how quick Clyde Edwards Helaire is. He is so quick. The micro movements are so fast that literally see the sign behind me. See the sign behind me. Clyde Edwards Helaire. This is how Clyde Edwards Helaire moves. Okay, like that, and he's still heading in the same direction. There's no one that does that. It's lateral movement while he's going forward. This is Maurice Jones-Drew trademark stuff. And the one thing that's so amazing about Clyde Edwards Helaire and what will translate into the best tackle breaking running back probably in fantasy football right out of the gate in a spread out offense that has so many weapons spread out, how the heck our defense is going to focus on Clyde Edwards Helaire? He could have landed in a more ideal situation. His offense is completely spread out. He's working in open lanes and gaps, which is his specialty, to find a open space to just dazzle his way through and make people look like fools trying to tackle him, and not easy schedule type situations. This guy was playing the best of the best in college, the best talent he faced. All of the best players in the 2020 draft, or almost all of them, Clyde Edwards Helaire ran circles around. This is not a player, if you want to say, oh, Darrell Henderson had a bad schedule, that's why he did so good. You cannot say that about Clyde Edwards Helaire. He made the best defensive players in football look like fools when he was running the football. And he got better as the game went on. The team leaned on him more as the game went on. So don't talk about how he can't handle the workload. But what makes his style, his micro movement style, so amazing, and what made MJD a top 3, top 4 overall player in fantasy football for years and years and years, was his low center of gravity, the actual frame of the dude, the build of the guy. Because he was so low to the ground and so compact. He wasn't just a small guy. He was a big, small, compact, perfectly built running back that had almost like a bowling ball type build, and you can't knock him over. It's like running into him. He bounces off like a ball, like a pinball, and just keeps going. And when you can mix in those micro movements, people roll right off a bowling ball, don't they? Try knocking over a bowling ball the next time you see one. Tell me how that goes. Because that's Clyde Edwards Helaire, a bowling ball. And he's going to bowl his way through defenses in 2020. Defenses that will be spread out because that offense is so lethal. Who has time to cover Clyde Edwards Helaire, a rookie that's unproven, when Travis Kelce's running on one side of the field, Tyreek Hill's knifing to the left? And yes, Damian Williams isn't going away, but this is a player, Clyde Edwards Helaire, that both the GM, Pat Mahomes, and the head coach all thought was the must-have grab in this 2020 NFL draft and the best football player in college football. 3 people at the top of every part of that organization. GM, head coach Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, #1 quarterback in the league, and their starting quarterback. All three wanted this puzzle piece for their offense. You're gonna play the Damian Williams card on me. By all means, have at it. Enjoy weeks 1 and 2 and 3, and maybe even 4. I mean, have a good time with that one. I'll take Clyde Edwards Helaire running full steam at week 4 or 5. I don't care. I'll wait 3 weeks. I'll start Mark Ingram and Lev Bell, who I'm drafting in the 6th round, if I've got to, while I'm waiting for Clyde Edwards Helaire to drop amazingness, goodness on Fantasy Football Worlds from week 4, week 5 on. And we may not even have to wait that long. But if we do, I've got Mark Ingram. I've got Lev Bell. Colby says Christian McCaffrey, Barkley, Elliott, Kamara, Cook, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake. I mean, I like it. I like anybody's rankings, man. I don't care if I disagree with them or not. Maybe this is Cook's year where he will stay healthy. Well, he almost did. I mean, he made it to the end. Alexander Madison in the 10th is gold. I agree. He is gold. You know what? There are 4 running backs that you need to get in 2020, no matter whether you own the starter or not. If you can afford it, Kareem Hunt, #1 running back to own in the middle rounds. I wouldn't say late. He's not going to fall late. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, not because I think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt will split time. They won't split time. Stefanski, who came over from Minnesota last year, who turned Dalvin Cook into one of the best running backs we've seen in a while. Dalvin Cook was utilized at a full-time capacity, but because Stefanski runs his offense through the running back, they needed to spell Dalvin Cook. He can't take on all of the work in a Stefanski-built offense. Nobody can. So Kareem Hunt will have flex value right away, whether Chubb's hurt or not. Chubb getting hurt is my concern, my fear. And that's where I think we do see a Kareem Hunt multiple start season. And Kareem Hunt can win a league for you. Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, and J.K. Dobbins are probably my favorite win a league running backs that you can grab later in your draft. Hunt is the guy that might climb the highest. But Pollard, if you're drafting Ezekiel Elliott and you don't draft Pollard, what in the hell are you doing? If you draft Cook and you don't draft Madison, what are you doing? Pollard and Madison fall consistently. So far in a draft, you're giving up some pipe dream player that's never going to crack your lineup for guys that will protect your top 5 running back talent. Think about that when you're sitting there looking at a Larry Fitzgerald, who, no offense, Larry, or you're looking at I don't know, give me a 8th round player, like a Landry. Oh, Landry's on the clock, on the board, and I'm on the clock. Do I take a Landry or do I back up my 1st round player, Dalvin Cook, with a guy that if he got into the lineup, he'd be a top 5 running back per start in Alexander Madison? Do I take Landry as my 4th wide receiver or do I go with Alexander Madison? I'm going to go Landry. Next pick, Alexander Madison. And you're trying to trade more than the Landry acquisition in capital. You're trying to trade other players to get Alexander Madison entering week 1 because you dropped the ball and screwed the pooch on that one. Don't do that. Draft Pollard if you own Zeke. Draft Pollard if you don't own Zeke. Pollard and Madison aren't expensive. You have no excuse for not handcuffing those guys. Reach an entire round if you have to. It won't cost you that much. Hunt, on the other hand, is going at 6.01, 6.02, 6.05. He's all over the place. You almost have to use what's up, Noah? You almost have to use your 7th and 8th rounder together, trade both of those picks 2 for 1 to make it enticing for a 6.01, 6.02. Keep your original 6-rounder. It's my one little move that I recommend making to secure yourself Kareem Hunt, because you don't have to sacrifice that 6th-round pick, and you still get to get rid of a 7th and 8th for a Kareem Hunt. Do it. Do it. If you draft Nick Chubb, you better get Kareem Hunt. And it's not because he will replace him. It's because Chubb could get hurt. Chubb had a lot of work last year. Chubb ran the ball a ton. Almost more. Was he the leading rusher? He was like number 2 or 1. Somebody look that up. JP, where you at? I think Chubb was the leading rusher through a certain week, but he might. What was Chubb? Look it up. Who was the leading rusher in the NFL last year? I'm blanking. I'm out and about. Come on. Henry is the leading rusher. What was Chubb? Was he 2 or 3? Chubb was worked a ton. Chubb was worked. Yeah, Henry was. Henry had didn't Henry had like 15? Chubb was second. What did Henry have? Chubb had 14 something. Henry had 15 something. I know that. I think Henry was the only 1,500-yard rusher, and I think Chubb was like at 1,450 or something like that. 1,475, something like that. 1,494. There you go. At 1,540. Those are your 2 leading rushers in the NFL. And might I add that these are the 2 running backs that we do need to be a little concerned about, because most times when you get that kind of volume, an injury could be waiting for you that next year. Don't count on it. Don't avoid them. But in Chubb's case, you can back that up. Get that guaranteed Stefanski running production behind Chubb, because Chubb is going to be elite for every game he starts. Make no mistake about it. Chubb is going to be a top 5 running back per start. Do not doubt the man. Do not doubt Stefanski. Do not doubt that situation. But Chubb ran the ball, as we just talked about, 1,495 yards or whatever you just wrote. That's a lot of carries, man. That's a lot of work for an aggressive runner that is abusive to himself and everybody that tries to tackle him. That makes Kareem Hunt extremely valuable. And J.K. Dobbins, in redraft, you can't do this in Dynasty because J.K. costs too much. And maybe you can, actually. You can draft J.K. early, draft Ingram later. Actually, it works well. I'm taking that back. Let me rewind that. J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram are a fantastic duo, because in redraft, if J.K. goes late enough, you can almost back-to-back those 2 running backs and take no running backs but your running back 1. Like, let's say you take Kamara or Zeke in the first round. You go Mahomes, or you go Evans and A.J. Brown, and you just go heavy at every other position until you get to a later pick, mid-round range. You take J.K. and Ingram back-to-back. I think you have yourself a top 10 running back lock. And I think Ingram probably isn't going to give up his running back 1 duties unless he gets hurt. And getting hurt is a possibility. J.K. will be sprinkled in. They trust Ingram. Ingram is a veteran. Lamar and him are like this. The team trusts him. He's a leader. I don't think Ingram relinquishes the starting job in 2020. I love J.K. for the future, but together I love them because it's very protective. Russell Wilson says he wants him. That means nothing. You're talking about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's like tough. Like, do I take Antonio Brown? Yeah, at some point. And I hold on to him. With Hunt not suspended 8 games, Smitty, question mark, what are you talking about? Number 1, no offense, I'm not directing this right at you, football junkie. You're the guy, you're the man anyway, so you know that. You know we're like this, bro. He says he's saying take him over Metcalf. I don't know what you're talking about. Lat Murray's in there too. Lat Murray's right after those guys, bro. Lat Murray can win a league for you. Lat Murray is a must-own for Kamara owners. We know what Lat Murray can do if Kamara's out. If you draft Kamara and you don't take Lat Murray, who falls very late, you got to be kidding me. AB over Metcalf, no way. Metcalf's a 4th-round lock. 4th-round lock. What was I talking about? Dang it. It was a good topic. Got a good something loaded, ready, locked, and ready to spit out. What was I saying? To football junkie. This is not going at you, but in general. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about Hunt suspended. When people say, "Look what happened to Chubb once Hunt came back from a suspension," and that worries said person, I have to ask said person, what's changed? Stefanski. He made Dalvin Cook rebound into a top 3, 4, 5 running back, top 6 overall player. So you can't look at what Hunt did last year because it's not the same scenario. It's not the same coaching. Chubb is the starter. Stefanski is not going to deploy 2 starting running backs. He's not going to do a 1A, 1B. I don't even care if somebody says that that's going to happen, or somebody, if Coach Speak comes out and it's Coach Speak, oh, we're going to use 2 running back. I mean, of course they're going to use 2 running. Who doesn't use 2 running backs? And a football junkie, I'm not aiming this at you, but when people say Hunt did well when he came back, Chubb dropped off, it's a different scenario. And Stefanski will run everything through his one running back, and he will do enough running that he needs to have somebody spelling him. So Hunt will be used and utilized. It's only until Chubb gets hurt that there's a risk, and Chubb could get hurt. Smitty, read the damn comments. I'm trying, man. They go by fast. Noah might need to take 5 laps. Why, Noah? Smitty, can I join your league, please? I don't have a league to join, but I do mock drafts and I do leagues all the time. I might do a league Thursday or Saturday where we do a real league draft. Like whoever jumps in, first gets a spot. I don't hand them out. You just got to be first come, first serve. Chubb will score more TDs this year. He will. He'll score more TDs, and Stefanski will not run both running backs. He's not going to replace. He's not going to throw. Man, that smells good. I smell like cinnamon rolls. Stefanski's not going to run Hunt and Chubb equally. Like, he's not going to do it. Chubb is a beast, dude. God, that smells good. It smells like Cinnabon. Oh, that Cinnabon smells good. I wish you could smell this, guys. Holy smokes. Damn, that smells good. I like Hunt. Football junkie, you won't find very many people that like Hunt more than I do heading into 2020. What's that tell you? That I think at some point he will be relevant and starting. Cinnabon smell good. Oh, my God. Oh, they're not open either. I can smell them cooking, though. Ooh, I could use a Cinnabon right now like you can't believe. Better Call Saul. I need to watch that. I'm in the middle of like the first episode of the new season, and I'm going to do that tonight. I'm watching Bad Boys 2, or Bad Boys 4, or whatever the hell it is. Bad Boys 3, 4, the newest one. It's pretty good. Damn, that smells good. All right, you guys, why do we have 36 to 50 people constantly in the room? And I literally only have 19 thumbs up since we started the live, and I've been going 48 minutes for you. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. At least bring it up to the 37. Give Smitty some help. The show is growing, and I need your help to get it so that I can do a 10 to 2 show or a 4 to 7 show. Super chat by Kyle. My guy Smitty, Kyle says, thank you, Kyle. Super chats always help. Never expected, always appreciated. Kyle, you're the man, the myth, the legend. But yes, please hit that thumbs up and help a brother out. I want to get this show by the end of the year. So December, I want to be able to make a call for you guys and say, you know what? We're going freaking live 10 to 2 every single day. But we need growth in sponsorship and all that. I'm not about likes and follows and stuff, but at some point you have to factor it in with your business plan. You gotta grow. When's your real league starting again? When's your real league? We're doing a draft Saturday or Thursday, a follower draft, 15 cookies, something small. First come, first serve. The Throne League kicks off in June, mid-June. Get ready for the Fantasy Football Throne, where all the followers, you guys draft my team. I've got 11 other fantasy football expert Instagram and YouTube channels involved, and you guys draft the freaking league. You draft the teams. My followers draft my team. We do a vote, and I draft who you say, and we do that at every single pick. It's a really slow draft. We get through like 4 to 6 picks a day, and when each team is on the clock, and each team is a fantasy football community, so when the fantasy football show is on the clock, I'm going to turn to you guys, and we do a vote. We'll do a vote, a live, probably a YouTube live and an Instagram live, and I'll take a vote, and I'm going to draft the player you vote. And so everybody's included in that, obviously, because you guys make all the picks. And as for Thursday or Saturday, I'm not sure which day I'm going to do the draft. It's first come, first serve. So we'll probably do a mock draft. We'll probably do a real draft. I'm not sure. But thank you for all the super chats. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate the thumbs up as well. Please hit that thumbs up on your way out. John McSweeney wants to know, will I do another 24-hour live stream? For those of you that don't know, I've gone live. The counselor's not coming back. I'd take him back. I miss his shenanigans. For those that don't know, I did a 24-hour live stream about 15 months ago, and I made it the whole way. I went about 24 hours and a half without sleeping, just doing a live with you guys, just me. I didn't rotate out with anybody. I didn't even leave my studio. Those Cinnabons smell so good. I didn't even leave my studio. The second time I went running, I went to the store, and then I had a cold. I think I have the flu, actually. I didn't really go to the doctor, and then it ended up coming back because I didn't take care of myself, and I tried to get back on lives and doing videos right away. So I ended up having like a cold for like 2 weeks, or the flu. But I got the flu or a really bad cold, whatever it was, and I only made it 18 or 19 hours that second attempt. But I do need to do it again at some point. Don't worry, I will. It may not be this off season though, because I already did one. I did one last year. I did one this year. Pick 2 keepers. Oh, Double A with the super chat. Thank you, Double A. You're the man. Pick 2 keepers. 12 team, 0.5 PPR. Miles Sanders, Drake. Miles Sanders at 3.12. Drake at 4.01. Lock in Drake. DK at 11th. Easy call. Like, I don't even have to think about this one, bro. Drake and DK. Like, home runs. Don't even think about it. Number 1, Drake and DK, those keeper values are insane, bro. JP says 24-hour live stream. JP, were you there for the first one, or did you not follow me yet? The first one was off the hook, bro. Second one, I got sick and didn't make it. I went for pizza right here at this place right here behind me, and you guys bought it, and I appreciated that through super chats. I was like sitting there, and you guys paid for it, man. Smitty, when should I draft AB? At the end of draft, like when you're looking at the players and you're like, I don't care about these guys. Take AB. Why not? All right, guys, hit that thumbs up on the way out. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate Double A. I appreciate everybody that super chatted. Let me see if I can scroll through. Kyle, thank you, Kyle, for the super chat. Thank you, Double A. Who else super chatted? Let me scroll. Dill always drops something once in a while. Dill, I appreciate you. Who's that first super chat? I'm trying to find it. If you super chatted, let me know, and I want to thank you. I'm looking for it. I'm looking. Oh, there it is. Double A. Okay, so Double A, Kyle. I forget who else it was, but anyways, thank you guys for the super chats. Am I still high on Montgomery? I'm high on his talent, but I don't know that I'm going to feel confident in drafting unless he falls far, because I don't trust Nagy. I don't trust Chicago. I don't know if they know what they have. Smitty, why aren't you home? Because I like to get out and get some fresh air, and at night nobody's around, bro. So I can walk around with this great backdrop, amazing lighting, just a cool environment, different. You know, I'm in my studio. My studio is pretty cool. I don't think many people have a lot of, studios like mine, and I'm proud of it, and I love it. But it gets hot in there. I sweat a lot. I just like getting out, walking around, getting some air, and this is, I think, a great backdrop. It's fun to be out. And when the world gets back to normal, one reason I do go out is I do interviews. I walk up to people and I interview them on a live, and that becomes good content. So, I'm still doing it even though people are not, outside, but that's good for me right now. I don't want to be near people right now. Smitty, do you do cash leagues? Yeah, that's why I said cookies earlier instead of cash. That's the way people say it on the DL. Counselor won't go live with me. Hell no, he won't go live with me. That guy would never go live with me. I'd tear him up. Smitty, do you what kind of studio do you have, JP? I forget what you do. Come to LA, says Football Junkie. West Coast. Always love the show. Smitty, you're the best. Thank you, Dylan. Someone I have not been able to get my hands on in any mocks is Miles Sanders, though. That's because people are taking him way too high for my take. You're going live with the counselor? No, dude, he won't go live with me. There's no way. No way. Why don't you like the counselor? I honestly, he blocked me, and I didn't do anything to him. So, Kyle, I don't dislike him. I actually miss his shenanigans, bro. He's still high on DJ. I like the guy. His advice is another thing. His advice is I mean, he thinks DJ's a top 5 running back, so there you go. But I do miss his shenanigans, and my door is always open to the counselor, even though he has such bad things to say about me. I honestly didn't do anything to him. He just blocked me, and you can't block me. You can't block me on Instagram and be in my league on Instagram. You can't be in my Instagram league that's all about communities coming together and block 3 or 4 of the owners in the league, which is what he did. He blocked 3 or 4 of us and expected to stay in our Instagram league. And so that's how that whole thing blew up. David Johnson not making that mistake again. Don't, Colby. Ride with me on the Fantasy Football Show. Don't ride with him. He's still talking DJ up. Why? Is Adams worth the first rounder? Absolutely. I think Hopkins is too. Hopkins is my number 2. I think he's going to go crazy in Arizona this year. And I know I'm in Arizona, but I'm not a homer. I have 16 years to prove that I don't just pick Arizona players. I got to go. I'm out. That's been a 1-hour show for you. I appreciate all of you. And thank you to everybody that served. And my heart goes out to all and any of you that have lost somebody that has served, or know somebody that has lost somebody, or are related to somebody that has lost somebody. It's a time. Memorial Day is a time to be appreciative, not say Happy Memorial Day and all that. And so much of the young kids, they think it's a they think it's a different holiday. They think it's like Veterans Day or something. They get on. You see on IG, people are like, Happy Memorial, like it's some holiday. Like, dude. But I appreciate all of you, and please hit that thumbs up on the way out. Respect and courage. Yes, Football Junkie. And if you haven't subscribed, you better subscribe as well. And if you haven't gotten over to sleeperu.com, might I remind you that my rankings have been upgraded and revamped. Do we have any Sleeper U members that want to speak up real quickly before I jump and attest to how amazing the sleeperu.com new rankings are, where I have super rankings, I have super rookie rankings, which are basically the rookies and the sophomores only. The rookies and sophomores only. And that's an amazing tool for getting Football Junkie, of course, is a member, for getting your dynasty cap on. JP says Sleeper use the key to winning leagues. At a baby. Go get it, you all, says Football Junkie. He knows what time it is when it comes to sleeperu.com. And that's sleeper, the letter U, like a university.com. We are a university of sleepers, finding you the breakouts and sleepers so that you can win your league. Counselor doesn't like Drake or Eckler, but I'm very high on them. Yeah, Kyle, that's why you're here, Kyle. That's why you're here for the content, and you're there for the clowning. You want to laugh and have a good time. You can have that here too. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't have Dalvin Cook in his top 10 or 15 running backs. I mean, come on. Come on. Rankings are bold on Sleeper U. Smitty, when can I go to sleep? Right now. I'm hitting it right now. Content is none below. Thank you. Thank you. Sleeperu.com. Get some. Later, guys. Appreciate you. Hit that like. Comment below. As soon as this video posts, comment, because it'll start off with 0 comments, and I answer all my early comments. So that's a way to get direct access later.